Today on GONITRO, we will begin with the basics of the body mechanics used in preparing to learn some of the many forms of the Chinese art of Baguazhang. It's one thing to watch the pros, it's another thing to train with them. But there's just one catch. They've had half their lives, we have half an hour. Because every athlete has a first day. Here's the place. Here's the legend. New teacher. But we've never done this before. Experience? Zilch. No clue how to start? Less clue how to play. And neither do you when you start out. Because every athlete has a first day. And you've just been drafted. Baguazhang is a vast group of martial arts that encompasses everything from basic forms of meditation to complex weapons techniques. It's basically like an encyclopedia of martial arts, where the different forms are categorized and organized based on their unique styles, such as striking, grappling, joint locks, and many others. However, before branching out into any of those areas, students initially spend the majority of time learning about body alignment, flexibility, and posture. Various exercises and techniques are used to develop these body mechanics. In this episode, we cover some of the initial lessons that somebody should expect to see in their first few classes or sessions after signing up to learn Baguazhang. Don't try this at home. Our professor, Dr. Orchard. Let's see how we do.
So the first thing we learn in Julan Baguazhang is quiet sitting. It's not really the same as meditation, because what we're trying to do is get different skills to be developed by how you think and what you're doing. And it's not really so much that we're trying to become one with the universe or anything like that. So we have particular requirements that we do for that. First thing I want to do is we find a chair, a stool, a pillow, or anything like that. And for people who have knee problems, we can sit them on a chair. You want your hips a little bit higher than your knees. You want to make sure your knees aren't caving in, your toes aren't turning out. So your thighs are mostly straight forward, and your toes are pointing mostly straight forward. Right. And then you're going to sit. You'll notice that I'm perched on the edge here. I'm not sitting in the middle. So my sitting bones are close to the edge. Oh yeah, I can really see that. Okay. And then I want to sit so my hips, shoulders, and ears are in a nice straight line. My hands are palm down. So why don't you give that a try? Already see how you can line yourself up there. So let me know if that's pretty good there.
I can go a little bit closer to the edge.
As long as you don't feel like you're slipping off, that's pretty good right there. So you want to make sure that this doesn't happen and this doesn't happen. You want this sort of feeling. And from your center line, this leg, if this one's over here, it's different than that leg. It's different tension.
Oh, I see. I can feel it. So
yeah.
I guess we want it to be relatively perpendicular.
As much as you can make it. Little changes don't matter too much, but that's pretty close there.
Understood. This feels pretty good so far.
Then you're looking for a nice straight line here, all the way up here, and nice and tall like this. this. There you go, there. So now, that's just getting you into the position where you start for the quiet sitting. Okay? These are called ting sha, and we just use them to make a noise. So I'm going to stand behind you and talk you through what I want you to do. Okay? So you just relax.
Baguazhang is a vast group of martial arts that encompasses everything from basic forms of meditation to complex weapons techniques. It's basically like an encyclopedia of martial arts, where the different forms are categorized and organized.
Now, the idea of the ting sha is to give you 3 bright noises that make your mind come right here, right now. Then in quiet sitting, the first thing we work on is correcting the posture. So we already went through a little bit of that. Your job is to think about that a little bit. So you're thinking about the center of your hips, the center of your shoulders, and you want to kind of make sure those stay over top of each other. So we don't want to get tight here. We want this to lift up. There, like that. That's perfect.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Now let your elbows kind of hang down and just relax. Let your shoulders hang away from your ears. There. So that's the basics of correcting the posture. After this, we want to find song. Song, S-O-N-G, is the Chinese word for release, often translated as relaxed. I don't like relaxed because we all think we know what relaxed is. Relaxed is when you're sitting on the couch with cheesies. Okay? What I want you to do is I want you to sit nice and tall, and then you're going to let go of all muscular tension that you don't need to be in that position. So start with your hands. Your hands squeeze things all day long. What I want you to do is think of your fingertips lengthening away from the heel of your palm until there's almost no space underneath your hand and your leg. And then all the muscles that control your hand start in here. Right? So when you start to feel your hand being more relaxed, move your mind to here and see if you can make the forearm melt away. Now if you're watching carefully and you're feeling this, you can feel this shoulder just drop a bunch compared to this one.
Is that good?
Well, it's good. Yeah, I'd like them both to drop. Okay? But because we're focused and I'm talking over there, now you need to let this hand relax, let these muscles get soft, let this elbow hang.
I'm already feeling like a 30% difference, but it's interesting because then my body's trying to compensate and then it's going, okay, compensate for that, and then it seems to all kind of be starting.
Right, and then it wants to go back to where you were sometimes. Crown jewel of the Dao Chi Chuan stable of martial arts is the Julan Baguazhang. It's very unique. It's got differences compared to a lot of other styles of Baguazhang. And so it's my specialty. Okay. If we go over here, I tried to pin this up, but I couldn't quite get it hung up. So where's a place that you get a good view of that? The gua in Baguazhang means this 3-line symbol. As you can see, some of the lines are solid and some of the lines are broken. The broken ones correspond to yin. The solid ones correspond to yang. Normally when we look at the Tai Chi Tzu, which is this diagram, we're looking at this swirling pattern of yang intermixing with yin. What this does is says, if I take a pie slice out of this, that's mostly yang right there. There's a little bit of yin, but it's mostly yang. It's the yangest part, if I can butcher the word. This pie slice is the yinnest part of this diagram. So this is what the Chinese will call sky. This is what they'll call earth. Each one of these corresponds to a different natural sort of archetype like that. So we have heaven or sky, lake, thunder, or lake, fire, thunder, wind, water, mountain, and earth. In Julan Baguazhang, each one of these presents a particular energy or body dynamic in which we generate power to make a particular shape in our hands. So when we come up here and we look at heaven palm comes up like this. And it creates this forward, upward, driving energy. It's very different than Earth, which creates this rotating, turning, spiraling, changing kind of energy. Each one of them has something different like that, and that's very different than most classical styles of Baguazhang. It's your peripheral vision. So if you can see my fingers here.
I can see them.
Okay. You want to turn that vision on so that's what you're looking at rather than trying to stare at something right in front of you. You want to see this wide vision. Then you want to see that wide vision up and down in front of you and near and far in front of you, all at the same time. Like you're a hawk soaring over the plains and you're looking for movement in the grass below. You're not examining each blade of grass. Or you can think of it like you're looking at a mountain vista. You're seeing the whole thing, not just one tree on the mountain. When you've got that, let your eyelids close about halfway. This is challenging for most people. They either want them all the way open or all the way closed. And we'd like them closed about halfway. This cuts the distractions coming in while you're doing your quiet sitting, but it doesn't make you oblivious to the world around you. Dao-yin is kind of like stretching, but the purpose is different and what you're doing as you do it is a little bit different. Dao-yin means leading and guiding. And 2,000 years ago, when they were first coming up with the idea of health exercises in Chinese medicine and culture, they came up with the idea of Dao-yin. And what they were doing was leading and guiding pernicious influences out of your body. So if you have a strained hamstring, you're trying to lead that evil spirit out of your body. Well, we don't think that anymore, of course. Right? Instead, what we're doing is we're using the mind to lead the body into different positions and to release different things. Rather than just reach and pull, we're trying to think about how we do it the whole time. So the first thing we want to do is make sure your feet are straight ahead. Now, I'm going to be fussy about straight ahead. And if I just walk over here for a second, can you see that this line on the floor, the center of my heel is on that line?
Yes.
And my second toe is on that line.
Yes.
Okay. And if I put this foot down the way most people put that foot down, you can see the inside line of my foot is straight. And so if I put them like this, so that the edge of my foot is here, that's how most people will stand and make their foot straight. But you can see they're actually diverging a little bit. So I'm actually standing so the center line goes through my second toe and the center of my heel. And I'm standing like that. I'm going to place my feet like that all the time. Most people habitually stand like this. So oftentimes it'll feel a little stressed and tense. Why don't you try that line and see if you want one foot.
So the line along with the middle of the heel, and then the line with the second toe.
Yeah, this is your first toe.
That's my first toe.
That's your second toe right there.
Okay.
Right, so you want that there and the center of your heel right there. Good. Now see if you can place the other foot so it matches. There. There. Good. That was a nice change you made in moving your heel out just a little bit. Where I want is the center of your hip, your ankle, directly under the center of your hip. Okay, so wider is often more comfortable for people. I would say you could actually come just a little closer with that other foot. There. And then when you look in the mirror, you can see the center of that ankle and the center of your hip are very close to over top of each other.
Oh, I see. And I can see why people would naturally want to adjust even though they shouldn't, because they're going to, I mean, I don't get too much of it because I'm used to working this, but even I'm going to feel a slight amount of, not tension,
right,
but a little bit of...
Start off is something we call clearing. So we're going to make our arms, I'm just going to make sure I don't get you in the head. So we're going to take our hands.
I'm used to it.
I want you to imagine underneath you there's a pond of water, a pool of water. It's pristine, it's beautiful, it's wonderful smelling, it's sparkling, it's a perfect temperature. You can point your hands at that water and imagine that water is flowing up into your legs, into your thighs, into your pelvis, and my hand is pointing at the part of my body that's feeling the top of the water, all the way through my torso, up into my shoulders and chest, up into my upper arms, my neck, my forearms, my head, my fingertips. I'm filling up with this pristine, pure water. And the water's going to drain out through my legs. My hands are going to float down on top of the water, feeling the interface of the water in my body, leaving me feeling clear, refreshed, alert, and sung. And remember that sung is that idea of relaxing or releasing tension.
I think I'm overthinking it a little bit with the...
Think of it like this, maybe this will work for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you put a flashlight in your hand
Mm-hmm.
and you shine the light at your feet,
Yeah.
how are you going to get that light to shine high? You need to move your hands and you point the light higher and higher and higher until the water is, or the light is shining at you all the way up. And then you're going to come down in front and you're going to point that light at your body all the way down. All the way down in front. Down in front of your legs, down your feet, back into the ground. Right? That make sense?
Yeah, it does. I'm probably just was overthinking it, which I have a tendency to do.
That's perfectly fine. This is something that in the end I don't want thinking, I want feeling. A really good way to do this at home is to run the tub, get that good temperature water, make sure the water's happy, late. So when you think of your spine, inside your spinal bones, there's discs. Right? The discs are kind of like little spacers. As you go over to the side, you're opening up those spacers. Right? When you come back up, I don't want you to pull those spacers closed. If you hold that there for me. There. So as this tips over here, what I want you to do when you come back up, hold on to the bottom.
Yeah.
There. I want you to lift this up so those discs get opened up on this side too. Okay? So
No replacement cartilage for us, I don't think.
that's what we're going for. Okay?
It's sort of a one-shot order, and once you've kind of used it up, you've used them up.
Well, some of us have to work hard to use it up. So we're trying to make it so that you get as much mobility and fluidity into everything that you're doing as possible. So as I go over, what I'm doing is I'm curving each vertebrae, one vertebrae at a time like this, and then I'm uncoiling one vertebrae at a time like this, rather than just tipping over as a whole unit. Okay? So let's try that together.
Okay.
It's a little bit like you're reaching for the remote control off the edge of the couch. Okay, so I want you to shift a little bit to your right, bend your knees more. More. There you go. Now, starting from the tip of your fingers, start curving over without twisting. Imagine you're trapped between two panes of glass, and right there, that's about as far as you can go properly.
Yeah.
Stretch your hands out. Reach, 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 reach. Bring your hands back. And now feel like this is lifting you up. This is lifting you up, back up until you're nice and straight, and correct your head.
Did I move my spine again?
Yeah, slide over to this side again. Keep that straight and square. Keep this tall.
Yep.
Bend your knees. There. Now you're going to tip over this like you're going over a great big round pin. So you reach from here first, and then you're trying to feel this vertebrae, then this one, 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 and so forth all the way down. And that's great. You haven't twisted your body. Now stretch out as far as you can, and you'll feel like pulling all the way down through here. Then feel like you're lifting up from the bottom all the way back up to the top. Huh? Now, push your hands together. Inhale as you pull them down. Stop breathing. Point your fingers at the ground. Exhale. Huh?
Honestly, I figured I was gonna have a more difficult time with this one than the other one.
Most of the time, what I do is I'll just move through the exercises, surround you with people who know the exercises, and give you some help, but let you stumble, because too much correction means you don't learn, right? So a lot of the times I give you a little less correction when you first start, because it helps you learn better than having too much correction.
The history of Baguazhang is believed to have started with the Taoist and Buddhist masters who lived and practiced martial arts in the mountains of China during the beginning of the 19th century. However, there is still controversy to this day over this, as some Chinese authorities firmly believe that the practice was purely Taoist due to the fact that there are references to many Taoist concepts in Baguazhang, such as the yin and yang theory, which doesn't have a Buddhist connection. However, there may be a valid reason for all this confusion. A man by the name of Dong Haichuang, a disciple of the original masters, was credited with formalizing the martial art and passing on the skills to his own students, who were a combination of Taoist and Buddhist.
Only on GONITRO. The show doesn't end here. Visit us online for your fix at gonitro.tv. You can follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can tweet us on Twitter.
GONITRO Access is brought to you by Melville, Saskatchewan. It's bigger on the inside. Aviva Canada.
Salon services for GONITRO provided by ID Hair Studio. Hair for who you really are.
Don't fit in. Stand out with black chrome.